I've been in a way better mood this last week. And it is because Anthony's gone. He's up in Oregon. No.
Hey! You didn't tell him about the barbecue we did after he was leaving without...
Yeah, big party. No. Dude, that's so awesome, though. I wish I could... Well, I've kind of done that at times. But he made the decision last week to... that, you want to check out Oregon. Make a 6-month plan. Like, that's where he's going to move. Open up a yoga retreat, a riding retreat.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I was like, that's going to be dope. And so instead of just being talked about it, like he went up with his girlfriend. They drove all the way up there. They've been up there for a week. He's sending me pictures. They love it. Yeah. So I knew we would dig it. So, but that's not why I'm happy. I was like, maybe kind of sad. I was like, I'm gonna be losing my yogi, or my training partner, and a good friend and someone talked to on the podcast. Got to bring you on. Jeez.
All right, I have to replace him. It's going to be hard to fill your shoes in, bro.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
But who knows what's gonna happen. Yeah, let's see if he even comes back. I wouldn't after being up there, dude. It's beautiful.
Compared to the traffic and what you were talking about earlier, how the crime rate is so low and
dude,
the population's low.
In South Dakota, that made me realize. Like Libby said, she's like, I want to live here because it was so green. She's like, everything's so green. I want to live here. It's like, yeah. I was like,
you know why? It's because of the books she reads. She loves that. It's all beautiful greenery. It's always like that in the fairy tales that she reads.
Yeah,
which is true though. Yeah. There's places like that.
Dude, you step out, you breathe fresh air. You're like, oh, my allergies are gone. I was like, I feel awesome.
I bet, huh? You didn't feel none of that.
Yeah. So that was good. So it was a good experience. This week, I did some stuff on my own, but I made the decision to. I'd already been wanting to do just a little cleanse. So I did like a 3-day cleanse. Just.
How do you feel overall?
Oh, dude, I felt so much better. And it's something I think everyone should do, because it made me realize how little food I need and what I felt like when I was having the great nutrients. I already eat pretty healthy, dude. I don't eat much fast food, but I do go to restaurants pretty often. And even though I'm getting the healthiest option, it's not always what I should be eating.
It's how they cook it.
Yeah,
it's really how they cook it.
And so this is what. This was easy. Made me realize it was good, and I also cut out all the sugar because I was having drinks with sugar, teas, and so I was like, okay, let's just see how I feel and do it. So I went just pretty much cold turkey. I still have some caffeine, but other than that, I stuck to it.
You didn't get headaches or none of that. No shakes.
No, I felt good. One thing I did this week, since I realized Anthony's not going to be around. And I've been thinking about it for a while. I went to a yoga studio.
You cheated on him.
And then I called right after I got done. I was like, I just cheated on him, man. I was like, going to another yoga studio. But dude, that's something I never would have imagined myself doing. Like when I first started, I'd be doing it downstairs. Like I wouldn't even let Jen come in the room. And I was like, whatever. And it was easy. It was cool. Dude, I'm even so sore right now. Like that's a hard ass workout, and I couldn't even get through. So the guy asked me, he's like, are you, have you done yoga before? I was like, yeah, a little bit, I was like, I've been doing a decent amount, twice a week. And so the first half of class, I was able to get through everything. Like he would call it level 1 is just the basic, and level 2 is a step up, and so he would call it level 2. And I was doing all level 2, like jumping back into everything. So so I was feeling good with everything. And then I had a real hard time with the headstands on the wall. I never do them on the wall. I never tried to do those.
That's level 2?
Yeah, that was. Well, he made everyone do that. Everyone had to at least try it.
Did you do it with the forearms, or did you just on your head?
No, just full handstand.
Oh, full handstand. Okay.
I think so. No, I don't remember. No, I think it was a headstand. I think that's part of the problem too. Because I've been trying to really work on handstands. So I should get that shit down first. But it was just different, and because there were other people there, I wouldn't always know who he was correcting, like whose posture. But I was always listening, so I was always trying to do whatever he was saying, like put your foot here, go deeper here, or really extend there, and really paying attention to him.
How much difference was that from when we went to Florida and we did the Bikram yoga? How much of a difference from now to then?
It was just this class was way harder as far as I mean it wasn't as hard because we weren't at 105 degrees or whatever, but that one, that was what made that class hard. I think this one was he was pushing us and just really going for it. I try to do as best I can. But then on the second half of it, I was like, you know what? I'm taking it easy. Like, so when he would call out level 2, I was like, yeah, I just sit here and breathe. And I was like, I don't think they get like how hard it is. Like, I am so sore from doing.
Oh.
It was an hour and 15 minutes. A lot of it was stretching. And dude, I'm so sore. My arms, my traps, my legs are killing me.
I bet.
Like, I didn't even go train today. I was gonna go do it, but I'll do something light tonight. But I was like, it's no joke.
No.
Not that I'm a great athlete, but I've been doing some pretty hard stuff and training with, doing Anthony stuff, which is tough.
I don't care how strong of an athlete you are. When it comes to yoga and the breathing, stretching,
Yeah.
most people refuse to stretch because it's just painful.
Yeah.
It is painful. People don't understand how painful, and
Yeah.
you're releasing certain endorphins in your body that's causing the acidic acid in your body to release, and just all kinds of stuff that's going on. But it's
Yeah,
it's
I hadn't thought about that though, but yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
Especially yesterday, like, he was really like, no, force it now.
Yeah.
You're gonna.
You lock
Or-
your
yeah,
knees
yeah,
and you
we're-
just turn. It's just like, geez.
Yeah, I hadn't done that much before. Where actually, kind of forcing.
But it's different when you go to a class. It's different when you.
Yeah.
It's more of a push because everybody's doing it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's easy to kind of lay back a little bit and go at your own speed. And with this, you have to keep up. Like some stuff with Anthony, I can go at whatever speed I need to. So if I want to go real slow, then that's cool. And sometimes that's what we're doing. But this one was like, okay, we're doing this.
But
we're
I
doing this. We're doing
recommend
this.
I recommend people that are starting off slow and take your time.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think that's
Enjoy
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
Because it's the benefits of it's beyond beneficial. I mean, these.
The benefits are beyond beneficial.
Yeah, no.
You're right.
See what happens.
But
Cut.
sorry. No, we'll leave that. Oh, dude, another thing too. I picked up the guitar again.
Oh, yeah?
I finally learned. I've been holding it completely wrong and doing wrong, so I'm trying to retrain it now. Yeah, man. So it's cool.
What song?
The one I'm doing now, Seasons in the Abyss,
Oh, okay.
which is cool because dude, my problem is I like just playing all the songs, and I'm just trying to raise my percentage. I play it on Rocksmith, and so instead of trying to get really good at one song, I
Is that
play a
the one?
different song every night.
Is that the one with the you actually use the chords?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
you plug
That's
it, and
pretty good.
you can play lead or rhythm.
Do you ever take it out and then play it by yourself?
I usually don't, but sometimes I do. Like if I'm going to be down there with the
To
kids.
see if you can remember it?
Yeah, and that's funny that you're bringing that up because that's finally where I'm at. Like last night I've been starting to do the riff repeater where instead of playing the whole song through, you can just go to any section you want and play it until you have it correct, and then it increases the speed or difficulty by a certain percentage. So
wow.
it adds a couple more notes. And then as soon as you hit that, but last night I was playing Seasons in the Abyss by Slayer. Love that song. Pretty a simpler one of theirs. Like the other ones are just way too fast for me to be playing at 11:30 at night.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't want
wired,
to.
and you can't go to sleep. You're like, what's up? You kick the door through. What's up, Jen? What are you doing? One eye's open, one eye's open. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, dude. There's Angel of Death. There's all kinds of awesome
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
I have bought their pack. That was the first thing I
Rain
started
on
playing.
Blood, was it one?
Rain of Blood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
hardcore.
Yeah, Jake knows some of those words. I think
Yeah.
he knows the screen. We'll play tonight.
You don't remember, but we went to a couple of those Slayer shows,
Oh,
you
yeah.
and I, and we went in the pit.
Yeah, dude, I've been to so many Slayer shows. Oh, yeah, man.
We went, I don't know if you remember, we went it last time, but we went backwards.
Really?
We were going against the pit. You're like, I'm all, what are you doing, dude? I was
Really?
like, all right, so I followed you. I was right behind you as you're laying people out. I was like,
Really?
oh my
No,
God.
that wasn't me.
Dude, that was you. It was me and you in the pit.
No.
Watch Slayer play.
No, I wouldn't go there on my way.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. Yeah, I don't remember.
Mark Tullius.
That's funny, dude, because I don't remember.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, and I wonder who knows how high I was, or who knows.
I don't think
drinking. Were we probably weren't drinking. It's
I'm not a big drinker. Not that. No, I'm not those
And even-
festivals. No
yeah.
way. I'll have maybe a beer, but no,
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I'd like to watch the show pretty much so.
But now I don't even. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting in there.
No, I mean, I just no joke though. I did go to not too long ago right here in Orange County and watched a couple of gigs and just got in the pit.
Dude, did you really?
Yeah, I did. I was just freaking just going, let's go. Oh god, dude, there's some meatheads in there.
Yeah.
Some big fools. I was like, Jesus.
Dude, I went to that's the first I had a Slayer concert was when I saw my brother Mike. Dude, it was my first Slayer concert. I was 15. I think Hollywood Palladium when they had the big riot. But Mike beat the shit out of some dude that kept bumping into me, some drunk asshole. he kept running into me on purpose. And I'm, dude, I was small, 15, you know, still a little dude. But Mike jumped on, they knocked him down, beat him up, and he got off him, and then this line of dudes just starts kicking the guy.
Oh, so they saw what they did to you.
Yeah. And that was cool.
Even though people don't understand, even though you get drilled in there, people still have a lot of love to pick you up and keep you going.
Well, dude, that's kind of like, I never thought before, but it's kind of like MMA. Like when you go against, you're kind of going in there with an opponent or teammate or whatever else, like you're saying, it's okay, like whatever happens to me happens to me. If you're in there and I accidentally hurt you, then you know what was going on.
Dude, I've been sucker punched in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh dude, I've been. I was
by me.
I walked out.
That one time I was behind you.
Wow. That's for my looking at what?
Yeah. Dude, Twisted Reunion. You probably haven't opened it, but it starts with a Slayer quote. Yeah, see, you would have known that.
I haven't got the first, just what he wrote is what I like. That's all. Now I save it, because then eventually I will read it.
Yeah, but I was like, what an awesome way to start a book. I've been meaning to write a blog about that, about just what that music did for me. But they were super influential. The speed and the aggressiveness of just the music, but then the lyrics. I love the lyrics, dude, and that's that probably helped form a lot of my writing, a lot of my dark stuff, a lot of my dark short stories. So thank you for that. Yeah, no.
And it pushes you. It pushes you more when there's music behind lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just any kind of word, and you push some, especially with Kerry King just jamming on the guitar. Are you kidding?
But dude, even with so last night I'm playing Seasons of the Abyss. Now once I'm trying to get better at this one section, and I'm just having a hard time. I usually don't play that. And I'm just awful at guitar anyhow. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna start doing this right. And then this morning, I was like, no, when I get home, I'm just gonna plug into the amp and just try it. I was like, because I saw it in my head, I'm seeing it. I say, okay, it's just these 6. I could do that. So and then I was like,
do you know how to read music?
No, but at the same time, I was thinking. Maybe I don't. Maybe I want to just go right because I'm just thinking. I just dropped the kids off at preschool. I don't have a lot of time. But then I'm listening to the radio, and then Seasons of the Abyss goes on. It was the one by Stone Sour, which is still really dope. So I was like, all right, I'm taking this shit as a sign. So I went downstairs, played for like 20 or 30 minutes, and I got way better at it. And I'm just, starting to figure it out. But it's cool that I had that desire, and it makes your brain function a different way, I think. And so maybe that's part of why I'm feeling way better.
Probably. Making your brain think of different methods, firing on different cylinders.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll get down to writing like around 11. I usually kind of finish up my main stuff like 11. From 11 to 11:30, I'll go in the sauna and edit. And then after that, I walk up here and just like, oh, you gonna play guitar? I'm like, yep. I was like, sorry, it's gonna be awful for the next 30 minutes for you, but you go upstairs
and
listen to it. No.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't put it too loud.
You should try it. It helps you concentrate if you do the headphones out.
Maybe.
Once in a while, but just make sure you.
I don't know if I can plug them into the TV. I have to figure that out.
Probably there's an outlet back there.
Yeah. Dude, another thing, feeling awesome. I cleared out, dude, I looked at my desk. I started cleaning up my desk just to see what kind of projects I had. And I realized that there were like 7 different things that I'm thinking about doing right now. One
books?
Yeah, pretty much, books. Different books. There's, we'll kind of go through them. Because I looked at this one that I thought could be pretty awesome, The Game. And I think you probably heard about it on the podcast where I ended up throwing it out completely.
Yeah,
I realized, I was like, you know what, I don't need to do this. I deleted it from my hard drive, everything's like, I don't want that anymore. There's another one I looked at called Blank Slate. And I was like, this one, because my thinking before was like, might not be that bad. So I printed it up. I was like, today I'm going to just look at this and critically and see whether or not I'll do it. If we could make it into something, how much work will it take? And I'm reading through it. I'm like, oh man, it was like lots of this is just terrible. It's awful. And that was notes. I was looking at the notes from a writers group I've been in here with a neighbor and like 3 other writers that are really good writers. And I was looking at all their notes on my first 50 pages, and he was like, yeah, this thing sucks. But it was good for me to see. I mean, there wasn't really much to say, but I looked at the whole story, and I was like, it still could be a good-ass graphic novel, but I realized I don't need to be writing about this character. I don't need to be writing about that character. I'm just writing
Just
about
cleaning up.
Yeah, so it's about the two main characters are this hitman and this kid, this machine. Where dude, did I ever tell you the story? Where this guy, ex-cop or whatever, bad cop, doesn't have to be a cop. Maybe that will change. I don't think so. But he's a bad cop. He buys a baby, and then he begins to tattoo him to look like a machine. And this is from a very young age. Like it's pure torture to his baby. And from the very youngest age, he has him starting to kill things, like small animals, dangerous animals. The older the kid gets, the more dangerous the animal gets to the point. And this is like, so if he wants to have any affection at all, if he wants to leave his room, if he wants any love, and I don't even know if he gets love, he might not, but the dad videotapes all this, and his whole purpose behind this is to show, if he wants to create this thing that no, people have, there's no good in us, we aren't inherently good. If this is what you believe, like this guy believes he's a machine, dude, and it's bad. Like he gets claws, he gets worked on. It's pretty brutal. And then like when he's in kindergarten, his dad starts stealing kids and bringing them into the backyard, in this fenced-in backyard, and they live out in the wilderness. And it's like, okay, if you want to eat, you kill him, and then they go for it.
And you thought of this all by yourself?
Oh yeah. So it's going to be.
What's wrong with you?
But the story starts with the dad. And this kid has never had anything besides this. So he only has his room and then this in the backyard. That's all this kid knows. And I think he's about 18, and all this shit's gonna change. I'm only gonna do their point of views, and I might even get first person, like a back and forth between these two guys. Because the Hitman's an interesting character too. But then he gets released probably in Times Square on.
Is this the same one that Olivia?
New Year's Eve.
You let Olivia look at it?
No. She never even heard about this or
Okay.
No. I did let her read Try Not to Die.
Did you?
But she hasn't read it yet. Maybe because in the first scene the parents die.
Like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe 8-year-old is too young for that.
Maybe wait till she's 12.
Yeah. So I just thought about that. That's the first scene, pretty brutal. I get to talk about that.
What are you trying to say, Dad?
At Romans, I'm gonna go. That's the book I chose for doing some author signing in Pasadena at Romans at the end of the month. And it's right. The only reason I went with that instead of Twisted Reunion is because there's the kids section right there. So I was like, that's not a good fit with Twisted Reunion or any of my books. But Try Not to Die is aimed at young kids. Not young kids. Like, I would say 10 is probably a good age. Livy just reads above her age.
Yeah, she's
whatever.
She's beyond.
But she chose not to read it, so it's good for her. How the hell did we get there?
Like always, we just jump around.
Oh, because we were talking about. So that I will make it into something. I'm gonna make that into something really cool. Probably make it into a graphic novel, one fully illustrated. Like it's gonna be badass. But it's gonna take a lot of work, more work than I thought. So I was able to say, okay, I am going to. This is gonna take this amount of months of work. I'm not gonna touch this for a while. I have to put it behind these other projects. So that's what I was gonna do. I looked at Ain't No Messiah. That's 100,000 words. Done, but I realized I have to change some things, so I looked at that again. I was like, no, it's just too much work. I can't handle that right now, but I'm going to do that before Blank Slate. It won't be that much. Come on up, bud. Little Jake, joining us again. All right, go ahead, sit here.
Want to join you guys.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you're joining us. And so it was good to be able to get that off my brain. I was like, okay, now I know I'm not even touching this until this. Like, because otherwise I had all these things always going like, okay, what can I do now? And feeling like, I think always having that worry, like, if I could just take pause and finish this book in a month, and like, that is such an appealing idea because it's been so long since I've done anything. It's been, I think that's part of it. You want to use my headphones? Yeah, that'd be fine. Go for it, dude. Let me know if I'm too low, like too loud or whatever.
No, you're fine.
But with, so another thing I realized, okay, but you can't talk though. Okay, you can just listen, you put your head back.
Mom.
Because, are you a writer yet? You haven't written anything. Once you start writing stuff, you could, you can't even write your name, dude. I know. No, you do awesome. Hey, tell Nada what you got today. What'd you get? You got your own season pass for Knots.
What?
Yeah.
You ever take 'em
2017.
you ever take them to the Disneyland?
Nope. Because I made, dude, I made a pledge a couple years ago. Still haven't been back. It's about Machine Head.
You selfish fuck.
No.
You
Hey,
guys-
dude, language.
He took
doesn't
his
have.
headset.
He doesn't have. Yeah, he's still wearing earmuffs. Damn.
We should go to Disneyland.
We should, but you know what they did? They did something I didn't like. A band that I love, Machine Head. They banned them. I forget what it was about. It was ridiculous. And
Did
so.
you play there?
No, it was like on their property in Disney. I don't know if it was at the Hard Rock. I forget what it was, but Disney was the one that made the decision. So I was like, oh, Disney. So, maybe stupid, and maybe part of it was me not wanting to go to Disneyland because I don't like crowds, and
Well, you know what?
and it drives me nuts.
But you know
So-
what? It's no different than you go into Knoxbury Farm. If you go in the peak morning hours, you're going. Deprive your child. See that, Jake?
Whatever.
You gotta go to Disneyland.
Nope, not waiting in those lines.
Disney.
Not there's
Disney.
Disney's.
Just take your dad's knee up.
Disney is cool, but he doesn't need it. He had just as much fun. Today we went to Knott's. We had just much fun. Would have had even a better time if you came over and played with him. But no, you don't want to play with him. No. But I'm saying, we can give him a box and a marker, and if I'm interacting with him or you're interacting with him,
He's fine.
he'll have a great time. So
Yeah.
you don't need to take your kids to those places.
No.
I was relieved to have those things done. And I took a look at Try Not to Die in Brightside. I was like, that's pretty solid, but it's going to take work. Try Not to Die, the heavy metal one, that's in motion. But that one won't be as much work because Glenn is doing a lot of it to go off it, which is awesome. Like we already kind of created it, lots of his ideas. And now he's going to go for it, and that way I can work on the two projects at once. But first I need to finish unlocking. I'm pumped about that though because I just read through it and I was like, you know what? This isn't terrible. This isn't bad like I thought it would. I was wondering if I had gone the right approach with the chronological the way I'm telling it, but I was like, yeah, it makes sense for me. If people don't like it, people don't like it. Whatever. I'm not
You're not gonna be able to please everybody.
I got everything cut out for me, man. I'm excited about it. Dude, were you at Machine Head Combat? I just saw my note. Back to Machine Head. With Jen and I, when they do Christmas Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. How disgusting was that?
That was crazy.
See, so I do remember some shows.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw them, and it was Machine Head to Slayer. I walked all the way from Brown. It was like it's snowing. It was nuts. I went by myself. I was drunk as fuck. And dude, I had a bottle of Jack or probably some cheap whiskey, and it was gone. But it wasn't a huge bottle, but I drank it by myself. And dude, I remember moshing by myself, and then I got into a fight with somebody, and I remember we both ran across each other. Like we knew we were gonna fight, and then like he's being an asshole. He was the guy that was being the bully to everybody. And so
In the pit.
in the pit.
Oh, gotcha.
And he had done some stuff to me. And that's when I was fighting, dude. I was big and just lifting like crazy and playing football. Thought I was tough. And so we met up in the middle, and they kicked him out, but they kept me in. And then I just helped them clean up the pit. So if there was any, like I helped the security guards. Like, yeah, like get rid of any problems. But I remember he ripped my shirt off too. It was my favorite Slayer shirt. That's where I found Machine Head. They were dope, and I became one of my favorite bands. So. Two favorite bands right there.
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
I still listen to Machine Head all the time. I haven't been listening to as much Slayer.
There's got a lot of new stuff that's pretty good too.
Yeah, no, dude, I still love their music, and that's why I play it, like on the guitar and stuff. I just, when I'm with the kids, I don't want to expose them to it yet. You know, like, they don't need all that dark stuff that I have, like this little poster right in front of his face.
So what is that, Daddy? That's
Yeah.
Trick or Treat Halloween.
You
Okay.
know? So it's the end of the episode, so you could tell them what story we're going to listen to tonight.
Yes, I'm a boy.
Good job, buddy. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Mommy's Big Boy. Stacy held her 1-year-old on her lap, cooing and trying to get her boy to say the name of her latest man. Say it for Mommy. Come on, Brendan. Say Harry. Brendan tilted his head to the side and gazed into his mother's eyes. Babies always look like little drunks, Stacy thought. Brendan's eyes were glossy and trying to focus. Look, he's about to say it, Stacy said. Harry didn't take his eyes off the baseball game, even when he took a sip of his Bud Light. Cool. Come on, Brendan. You know how to talk, she said. One time. Say Harry. Brendan's blue eyes sparkled and a grin spread across his face. Harry! He did it! He did it! He said it! Stacy cheered, bouncing Brendan into the air to celebrate. Harry turned up the television and gulped the rest of his beer. Stacy saw she'd been annoying him again, apologized for being too loud. I'm going to put him to bed. It's early, but maybe we could have some alone time. Harry actually glanced over at her. That don't sound too bad. Harry used the remote control to scratch the side of his neck. All right, I won't be long. Stacy stood with Brendan. Who's Mommy's big boy? Stacy gently tossed her little guy in her hands. Are you ready for bed? Brendan shook his head and used sign language to say that he was hungry. Stacy had taught him how to do it after watching a rerun of Oprah. Brendan had taken to it quickly. It gave him a voice, and Stacy liked that. Just now wasn't the time. No, you don't need to eat. It's time to go to bed. I'll feed you in the morning. Brendan squirmed and squealed, trying to wiggle out of her hands. Stacy had to sit back down to catch him. Before she could control him, he turned sideways and positioned himself under her breast. Stacy laughed as Brendan tried to lift her shirt. Quit it, Brendan! Brendan screamed when she held down her top. His scream grew louder. The hell's he crying about? Harry asked. He wants me to feed him. Give him a bottle if it'll shut him up. No, look at him. He wants me to feed him. Harry waited for the commercial before turning around. That's disgusting. I don't want to see that. It's perfectly natural. I don't care. I can't handle the thought of some kid sucking on your tits. Well, it's not like that. It's no big deal. Yeah, it is. It's gross. Don't ever do that around me. Don't ever talk about it. He turned back to the TV. And get him to shut up. Little fucker's giving me a goddamn headache. I'm sorry, Stacy said both to Brendan and Harry. She got out of the chair and walked Brendan to the bedroom. I'll put him to bed. I'll be back in a minute. Stacy laid Brendan in his crib, but in no time he was up on his feet, rattling the top railing. He continued to scream. She gave his cheek a gentle squeeze and smoothed his fine blonde hair. I'm so sorry, Brendan. Mommy's sorry. Just do this for me. I wish you could understand. Harry's not a bad guy, and I want to keep him around for a bit. But he won't stick if you keep on crying like that. He'll like you. I swear it. Oh, baby, please stop crying, will you? I need you to go to bed, sweetheart, please. Brendan unleashed an ear-piercing shriek. I'm sorry, honey. Stacy forced herself away from the crib. You need to go to bed. I'll see you in the morning. Before she changed her mind and picked up her screaming baby from the crib, Stacy walked from the room, leaving the door open an inch so she could peek in later without waking him. When she returned to the living room, she heard Brendan wailing over the baby monitor positioned next to the television. Harry glared at her, and then the monitor. Come on, Stace, I gotta listen to this? Are you serious? Stacy grabbed the monitor and lowered the volume. I'm sorry, I forgot about it. Harry turned up the television. I can still hear him. Well, I need to leave it on. This is so I can hear him. I don't buy that. What about all the babies that came before those stupid things came out? They all came out fine. I mean, my mom didn't have one of those things. It makes me feel better. She sat on the couch, lowered the monitor so she could barely hear Brendan's cries over the baseball game. Does that little bastard always scream like that? Stacy winced. The funny thing is, he never used to, even right after his dad died. It wasn't until last week that he started throwing these tantrums. Brendan's dad had passed 8 months earlier. He and Stacy had already planned on splitting, but it still tore her up to think about his death. Harry shrugged his shoulders and returned his attention to the game. Probably does it because you baby him too much. Treat him like a man, or he'll grow up to be a damn sissy. He's only 1. Put him on a schedule and don't treat him like he's helpless. He'll stop crying, trust me. You're probably right. I am. He clicked off the game, which ended with the Tigers winning by 3. So now that he's in bed, how about showing me some attention? I'd love to. She hurried over and sat on his lap. Harry looked down and noticed the monitor in her hands. What about that alone time you were talking about? She had left the door cracked and promised herself she'd keep one ear listening for Brendan. There, it's off. She kissed him on the cheek and set the monitor on the coffee table. How's that? That's a start. Harry pushed Stacy off his lap so he could dig into his jeans pocket. He held up a plastic baggie. I brought us a little snack. A pile of shriveled brown objects sat at the bottom of the bag. What are those? Mushrooms. Ever tried them? Mushrooms? No way. Never? You have no idea what you're missing out on. Stacy's cousin had tried to get her to take them in high school, but one taste had nearly made her puke, and she'd spit it out. She tried pulling Harry to his feet. We don't need that to have a good time. Come on, I'll show you. Harry pulled away from her grasp, but kept eye contact. Just try one. It'll bring us closer. You gotta try it. But what about Brendan? He's asleep. Harry slid his arm up Stacy's forearm, gave her goosebumps. What if he wakes and needs me? And what about nursing him? Can it mess up my milk? Harry yanked his hand away. God damn it, Stacy, what did I say about that crap? He's a boy, not a damn glass figurine. I don't want to do anything that can hurt him. Harry opened the bag and placed 2 of the shrunken mushrooms on his palm. It's fine. He placed one in his mouth and held the other out to her. They've done all kinds of tests on it. You mean studies? Yeah, that's what I said. He surprised her and stuck the other mushroom in her mouth. Just take it. Stacy was about to spit it out, but then Harry said, You were the one that said you wanted to keep me around a bit, that I wasn't so bad. Stacy was going to deny it, but he pulled her into his chest. He stroked her cheek, forced her mouth closed. There you go. That's good. Just chew it up and relax. You deserve this. Here, lie down on the floor. Here, let me just put this down. Harry spread a blanket over the worn carpet and flipped on the radio. We'll just relax and watch some music for a while. That's right. Just come down here and get comfortable. Stacy stopped chewing the nasty stem, lay on her back, and stared up at the ceiling. Nothing happened for a while. But then everything began to spin. Harry just kept stroking her arm, telling her to relax. He crawled on top of her, slid his jeans past his knees. She woke a few minutes later, or was it hours, to the sound of a salesman announcing the best deals at Pete's Pontiac. Still half asleep, she blocked out the radio ad, rolled onto her side, and spooned Harry's sleeping body. She saw movement in her peripheral vision. Through blurry eyes, Stacy saw Brendan standing next to Harry's head. Brendan was struggling to hold a potted plant. He lifted the pot into the air and took a step closer to Harry's head. Stacy cried out for Brendan to set the pot down. He turned his head so fast that he lost his balance and fell onto his side, the pot breaking on the floor. Brendan got to his feet and shoved his finger against his tiny lips. Not a word, bitch, he said, and ran toward his room, his little legs struggling to balance his chubby body. Stacy told herself she was hallucinating. She closed her eyes and drifted off again. Brendan's high-pitched screams and an eyeful of warm sunshine woke Stacy from her deep sleep. The clock told her it was already past 7 o'clock. Brendan always ate by 5:30, 6 at the latest. No wonder he was screaming bloody murder. Although her head was pounding and her lower back was killing her, Stacy picked herself up off the floor. She hurried to Brendan's room, afraid the baby's cries would wake Harry, who was still sprawled naked on the floor. Brendan stopped crying and smiled at her. As she went to pick him up, Stacy bumped into the tiny chair someone had placed next to the crib. Using the bottom of her shirt, she wiped the tears from his eyes and the snot from his lip. Hush, big boy. Mama's here. I'm sorry, Brendan. You must be starving. Brendan smiled and gestured in sign language that he wanted to eat. She sat on the rocking chair and pulled up her shirt so he could feed. She was just thinking back to her crazy dream of Brendan holding the potted plant when Brendan bit down on her nipple. Ow! What are you doing? Stacy pulled him away from her and stood him on her lap. Don't bite! That hurt, Mommy! Brendan shook his oversized head and stared disapprovingly at her, and clearly said, How about you wash your tits after letting that scumbag slobber all over them? If I wanted to taste shitty beer and stale cigarettes, I'd ask you to kiss me. Stacy held him at arm's length. It took a few seconds to find any words, but when she did, she screamed for Harry. Brendan smiled as Harry crashed about the living room, yelled for her to calm down. Harry appeared in the doorway, looking worse than Stacy felt. What the hell is it? Stacy kept Brendan at arm's length. It's him! He talked! You woke me up because of that? No, she cried. You don't understand. He talked like an adult. He had a man's voice and was so mean. This isn't my son. Harry looked at the smiling baby and back at Stacy. You're out of your damn mind. It's just the shrooms. No, I was feeding him, and he bit me. He said, What did I say about that? I told you not to mention that crap. I'm sorry, but before Harry could interrupt her, she said, He bit me and said my boob tasted like beer and cigarettes. Harry laughed and slapped his thigh. Jesus, Stacy, you're still tripping. Put the kid in the crib. You need to get your head straight. You think it's the mushrooms? I'm still high. What do you think, Brainiac? Come on, put him down and fix me some breakfast. It'll make you feel better. Harry left the room and said, Wake me when it's ready. I want eggs. Stacy set Brendan in the crib and stepped back. She studied her giggling boy and felt disgusted with herself. He was so adorable, and he couldn't speak. He was one, and she was high. She bent down to nuzzle her son's cheek, whispered his name lovingly. A sick grin spread across his face. Why are we whispering? Stacy stifled a scream, reminded herself that she was still experiencing the drugs. She looked at the chair next to the crib. Did you get out of your crib last night? Brendan nodded. And you aren't going to say a word, are you, Mommy? His voice was so deep. Stacy gasped and pinched herself, hoping the pain would snap her out of this horrific illusion. When it didn't, she said, What were you trying to do? Let's just say the prick got lucky. If it weren't for these fat baby fingers, his brain would have been mush. Harry? What now? He asked from the other room. He's doing it again. Get out of there, Stace, Harry ordered. You're tripping. Drink some water and fix some goddamn eggs. And don't make them all runny. Brendan waved a mocking goodbye as Stacy backed out of the room. In the living room, she noticed the pot, cracked and on its side next to where Harry had been sleeping. Oh my God, the pot. Relax. Harry covered his face with the blanket to hide from the morning sunshine. I think I kicked it over when I got up. It's your fault, though. You scared the crap out of me when you yelled like that. You broke it? Who cares? The thing was ugly anyway. Go buy a new one if it bothers you so much. Stacy wanted to tell Harry about her dream, but it would only upset him even more. Instead, she did as she was told and cooked breakfast. The sunlight was intense, but she felt like she was regaining some sobriety. After she slid the plate of fried eggs in front of Harry, Stacy took a bottle of milk to Brendan's room. She was relieved to see he was curled up under his blanket. Stacy walked to the crib and set the bottle on the nightstand. She was about to pull the blanket down when she heard a noise behind her and whipped around. Brendan was a few feet away trying to pick up a pair of scissors from the floor. Before he could cut himself, Stacy snatched the sewing scissors and set them on the cabinet. She turned back to her son, who cursed under his breath, looking down at his hands. "Stupid goddamn fingers," he said. Keeping one eye on Brendan, Stacy lifted the blanket and saw the pillow underneath it. "What were you trying to do, Brendan?" Her voice shook. "Let's just say we'll call you lucky this time." Stacy picked Brendan up, holding him as far away as possible, and took him into the living room. She set him in front of Harry and said, "Please watch him for a minute. I need to take a bath. I don't feel good at all. My mind's all screwed up. When is this stuff going to wear off?" "You can't worry about it. If you panic, it'll only make things worse. Hurry up and take a bath. I'll watch him." "Thanks, Harry. I owe you." With his back to Harry, Brendan put his fist in front of his O-shaped mouth and rapidly jerked it up and down, showing Stacy he knew how she'd repay her boyfriend. She pretended she didn't see the obscene gesture and ran off to the bathroom. After setting the radio on the ledge and turning on an easy listening station, she eased into the warm water and tried to relax. She promised God that she would never again take drugs. She begged him to cleanse her mind, take away the evil thoughts. She loved Brendan and hated herself for thinking such terrible things about him. Stacy had been in the bath for quite some time when there was a low knock on the door. I'll be out in a minute, Harry." The knocking persisted. "Is everything okay? Brendan's not causing too much trouble, is he?" The doorknob turned back and forth. Finally, the catch released, and the door pushed open. And there was Brendan, standing on top of his rock and roll Tigger. Brendan had opened the door before, doing this very thing, but his sick smile told her the drugs were still coursing through her mind. He got down on his knees and backed off the toy, carefully easing one leg down, and then the other so he didn't lose his balance. Before he turned toward her, he picked up his favorite red ball in his right hand, and something else in his left. "Did you want to play catch?" She looked around the bathroom, actually thinking about what she could use as a weapon before scolding herself. "He's your son. Jesus, get it together, Stacy." She held her hands in front of her. "Want to throw it to Mommy? Wouldn't Harry play with you?" Brendan stepped into the bathroom, his left hand behind his back, his right clutching the red ball. "Oh, don't worry about him. That motherfucker got what he deserved." "What?" Brendan smiled and moved closer to the tub. "I made a joke. Get it? Your mommy." Brendan could barely control his giggles. "And he's screwing you." "Mofo." "Brendan, stop this right now. I love you, but you need to listen to me." Brendan bounced the ball up and down on his palm, his dexterity much improved. "You treat that loser better than your own son. What kind of mom does that?" "I'm sorry, honey. It's just that Mommy's getting older and it's hard to find a decent man." "You are getting old, and Harry was probably the best you'll ever get. I think I like my chances of getting a foster family. With my angelic face and adorable smile, I'll be picked up quick. Maybe I'll have a proper house, some decent threads." He tugged at the zipper of his ratty sleeper. These Salvation Army rags aren't flying." "Brendan, I'm a good mom." "You named me Brendan, for Christ's sakes. You want me to be some sissy boy?" "Don't say that. Your father named you." "Oh, what a great guy Daddy was, shaking the crap out of me every night." No, he didn't." "You know what else he didn't do? He didn't commit suicide on the bed." "I'm dreaming." Stacy closed her eyes and shook her head. "This isn't real." He showed her the fist he'd been holding behind his back. "Is this real?" Stacy stared at Harry's eyeball and screamed. Brendan tossed the bloody orb into the tub. His whole body shook with laughter as his mom slapped it away from her. "Don't worry," Brendan said. "Harry doesn't need it." Stacy struggled to stand in the tub, waiting for his next move. He threw the ball at her. Stacy moved to her right and then saw the malicious sparkle in Brendan's eyes. Realized too late what he'd been aiming for. The radio wobbled on the edge of the counter and fell toward the water before Stacy could leap from the tub. The electricity paralyzed her, and Stacy's eyes fixed on her big boy.